video, we're going to take a look at a number of lines facing the Catalan. And this, from the move order, is going to be one of the most popular routes Black will take. And as people are becoming more and more afraid of taking risk, I can say in my own games, I face e6 and d5 so frequently that if you don't get down how to play against this, it's frustrating losing against people who are playing automatic moves. So definitely take your time going through this video as we're going to hit the high notes with the Catalan. And I will say that there's weaknesses in every move order with the Catalan. And here, knight f6, c4 is played. But say, for instance, if you play d4, and Ulf did this in a number of his games when Black played the immediate d5. He did play bishop g5 here in a lot of games, which is what I consider the Mama Diarra of modern move order. But g3 leads to bishop b4 check. And it should be noted, the move order that I play with the immediate c4, if e6, knight f3, d5, g3, d takes c4 is quite solid for Black. And you can even have to face Benoni type positions with d4, colors reversed with an extra tempo. So it's a pick your poison, but I don't mind facing those positions. So I just like to point out Black has equality in some of these lines, but again, Ulf Andersson philosophy. If I'm comfortable in the position, I know how to play it, I know what I'm looking for, I don't really care if Black gets equality. I'm going to outplay him anyway. So back to the main game. e6, g3, d5, and again, bishop g2. You have those two aforementioned options. Ulf goes d4, and that leaves open the bishop b4 lines. And first, let's take a look at the closed Catalan, which after bishop e7, castle, castle, the open is d takes c4 here, and the closed is knight b d7. And I really like the way Ulf played this line. Queen c2, knight b d2, e4. And that's the general picture of how we're playing against the Catalan. And any of these early takes lines, you really don't worry about it because it's all about timing, when to play c5, to disrupt the opponent's plan. And after e4, bishop b7, a lot of the opening books, like the Grandmaster Repertoire series, they recommend playing e5 and taking. And you end up with this French pawn structure. And to me, White's playing kind of all or nothing chess. I need to win in the middle game, or Black has the more compact structure and the better ending. I'm actually personally more comfortable playing Black in those types of positions. So I really like the way that Ulf played this. He says, okay, I'm not going to force anything. You force something. I'm just going to finish development. And now, take. And this is critical. Because if Black messes around here, d takes c4, b4. And it takes b5, and it creates an interesting imbalance. And this follows a game that between Andersson-Hansen 1995, and I feel like it's a good place to start. Now let's get back to the open Catalan. D takes c4. We're going to see a couple of different lines by Ulf. Queen c2. And it has gotten popular lately, b5, due to the World Championship between Carlsen and Nepo. So if that b5 move bothers you, one quick fix is to play queen a4, which guarantees to stop b5, and you can take the idea of b5 off the table altogether. I just point out Ulf's move order with his own games. He wasn't worried about b5. But you can play queen a4. Queen c2, a6, queen takes. And now, the overall philosophy of playing the Catalan is understanding that we're playing against the counterplay of c5. And Ulf has played a number of moves here. like bishop g5, for instance. One game that Ulf played was bishop g5, knight bd7, takes, takes, knight d2, rook c8, knight b3, directly playing against the idea. And after c5, d takes c5, bishop e4. Oh, it was a5 first. a5, a4, bishop e4, queen c3, b4, queen e3. And generally this position worked out to be equal, and it was a game between Anderson and Elvis, but white went on to win an equal position there. So this is an interesting and straightforward way to play against the Catalan. It's not winning any awards for best line in the opening or anything, but it plays directly against the c5 plan, and it's relatively straightforward. The more modern way of playing against the open Catalan is bishop d2. And the idea is you can play bishop a5 in a lot of lines to pin the c-pawn. Bishop e4 is generally considered the main line. And after queen c1, knight c6. And here is Ulf's style of play. I know that you're eventually playing for c5, so bishop e3. And we'll see as we're looking at other examples in this video that Ulf often played this bishop e3 move. b4. Notice how the knight's coming around for key squares. Rook d1. Also, prophylaxis. I'm playing against the modern breaks. c5 and e5 as the rook's going to be lined up with the queen. Knight b3. Looking to drop that knight in if possible. Knight e1. Sure, that bishop's good. Why not trade it off on my terms? Notice how white has full coordination here. Looking to play e4. Ooh, would you like to trade and I double rooks on the c file, you never get in c5, and I torture you? Doesn't sound good to you? No? Okay, you want to play knight g4 and bother me? No, you're not. No, you're not. Knight d7? All right, let's get that piece in the fray. Queen c2, f5. Pressuring the e-pawn. Pressuring the pawn mass on the queen side. Just little micro threats that are quite annoying. And though queen and rook for black looks very menacing, where's the breakthrough? There isn't one. Bishop f4 kills counterplay, and all the heavies are awkward, while white still has targets to pester. a4. And he's in no hurry ever, which I just absolutely love. Takes, takes, and queen takes f8 was good enough following a game that Ulf played in 1997. Now let's tackle a different move order and see some more examples. So coming back to the beginning here, d4, d takes c4 immediately. And Ulf would play queen a4 check. So now let's take a look at bishop d7. Solid as solid does. And we reach a critical position. Where does the queen go? And it may be natural to play queen c2 to keep an eye on c5, but Ulf was a big fan of queen d3. Oh, you're continuing to harass me? Sure, queen d1. And you got in your natural break. Do I care? Not so much. Because I'm getting a tempo back. And what does Ulf do? He loves his patterns. He loves his comfort and development. He puts the queen back on d3. Rook d1. And again, what pattern does Ulf like? Bishop e3. And I started seeing this the more I was looking at how Ulf played Catalan positions. He has his general themes. It's not so much I need to know exactly what to do in all variations, but have a feel of how to play these positions. And I felt pretty good, especially when checking it with the engine, that Ulf has equality, but it's the type of equality that's still nettlesome, still putting pressure on the opponent in some way. Knight d5. Well, I'm not letting you take my bishop without a fight here, so let's go ahead and take you there. Oh, the b-pawn's weak. We'll just do that. Make sure there's no problems, and I can continue to improve the position. Black's king's still stuck in the center, so he's looking to develop. We weren't in a hurry to capture on c5, because that could help with Black's development, but c5 is the focal point in the position, so White completes development and is ready to fight. So now let's go ahead and take. Oh, a bit of pressure. We've got a pin, so let's just put everybody on the pin. Nice in-between move here. Takes. Bishop takes, and lo and behold, Ulf has just a little bit of an imbalance, and it's amazing how quickly this falls apart for his opponent. b4. No weaknesses. Knight's on the edge of the board, out of the game entirely. Pin. And after queen c6, Black had enough in Anderson Johnson 2016. So coming back a couple more times, and I like going back to the beginning so we can repeat the move order together. Check. This time c6. b5, and seeing the previous pattern. Does he like queen c2 or does he like queen d3? Our man likes queen d3. And after bishop g2, castles. And this is our last branch, and then we're going to focus on the main game. a6. And what pattern does Ulf like to play against c5? He likes bishop e3. Even though c5 can be played, knight bd2, looking for the knight to jockey to b3. Queen's good and flexible, opens up the C and D files for the rooks, and that follows Anderson Navarro 2014. White went on to win that one. Coming back once more, instead of a6, bishop e7, and we have our last example game of this video. Knight c3, knight e4, keeping an eye on c5. It's fine. We don't mind that too much. And again, how do we support the center? How do we face c5, bishop e3? So this pattern with Ulf is queen d3, bishop e3, overprotection of the key squares. Rook c1. And knight d4. Time and time again, we see Ulf's pieces making it to the same squares. It's comfortable. It's easy. Knight b3. And it's good. C-pawn is now defended. The b-pawn looks a bit poison. I think you want any part of that, and Black didn't in the game. Bishop d4, very nice. Go away. And queen f3. Just when it seems like he may be getting into trouble, just gonna slither away, no problems. And lo and behold, we have another example. Bishop versus knight. It's almost as if there's patterns with Ulf's play that you need to appreciate. No weaknesses. Now let's improve. Queen e4, tickle on the b-pawn. Don't be in a hurry. Everyone's coordinated on the a-pawn. Yep. Knight and queen are better versus queen and bishop. Now it's simply a matter of technique as he comes back to hit the b-pawn, forcing the bishop to be anchored. Can't do much if you're Black here. Here, more optimal than what Ulf played is knight c5, followed by knight a6, where the b-pawn and the queen is being threatened, where the push is imminent. Ulf played knight a5, and he doesn't ruin too much here as he comes back in slow and steady development, which we love. And he gives up the pawn, but again, no weaknesses, no problem. Queen takes e4, definitely equal here, but I'm assuming both players were in wicked time trouble or something. King f8, or the game was inputted incorrectly, which happens. Now, I'm a big fan in this position of playing g4, as it goes along with the theme of I want my pawns on the opposite color of the bishop, but I can't argue much with Ulf's choice to take no risk and improve, as we see slow and steady improvements. Just waits around. No big hurry. Knight c7, and after queen b4, it's time. White to play, and taking advantage from this equal position again. Play forever. Check. Pawn falls, and the death toll bell sounds as white continues to slowly improve. We've got our passer, and our opponent gets the pain. As the knight comes around, slow, steady improvements. Following Anderson, Gallego, 2002. And Anderson has been doing this for years, for decades in fact, playing the same sort of themes. Everyone sees it when they look at his games. They know it's coming. But can they stop him? No. The quality is difficult to stop, especially when your opponent knows how to handle it, isn't making mistakes. If you take any risks, he's there waiting, and he will punish you for it. Tough cookie.